We have an inequality that x cubed is greater than x, and usually we have to make one side equals to 0, so we subtract x from both sides and we get x cubed minus x is greater than 0. And now we're going to factor this, so we factor out x and multiply by x squared minus 1 is greater than 0. And now we're going to factor this again, so we're going to use difference of perfect squares, and it gives us x minus 1 times x plus 1 is greater than 0. And now we're going to solve corresponding equation, so we make it equal to 0. And then we set x equals 0 and we get it x equals 0. Then we set x minus 1 equals 0, and that's going to be x equals 1. And from there we get that x equals negative 1. So now we put those numbers on number line. So it's going to be 0, 1, and negative 1. And we put open circles because those values will not satisfy our inequality, because ordinary inequality is strictly greater than 0, and those numbers make it equals to 0, which is not greater than 0. And now we're going to check each interval, so we test the number x equals negative 10, x equals negative 1/2, x equals 1/2, and x equals 10. So we're going to start with x equals negative 10, so we substitute it in our inequality, and that's going to be negative 10 times negative 11 times negative 9, and that's going to be negative times negative times negative. So negative times negative will give us positive, and positive times negative we will get negative, so it's not greater than 0. Now we're going to check x equals negative 1/2, and that's going to be negative 1/2 times negative 3 over 2 and times 1/2. That's going to be negative times negative and times positive. So negative times negative give us positive, and positive times positive is obviously positive and greater than 0. So the numbers from negative 1 to 0 will satisfy our inequality. Now we're going to check x equals 1/2. So we substitute and we get it 1/2 times negative 1/2 and times 3/2, and that's going to be positive times negative times positive, and it gives us negative, so that's not greater than 0. And the last thing is x equals 10, so that gives us positive times positive times positive, which obviously is positive and greater than 0. So all numbers from 1 to infinity will satisfy our solution, our inequality. So solution set is from negative 1 up to 0 using parentheses because we are not including those values, union from 1 up to infinity.